This weekend, we're gonna have Gigantamax Kingler making its way into Pokemon Go for the first time ever. And some of you guys may be like, I don't really care about Kingler, don't really care about the Gigantamax, and that is totally fair to say, but I'm gonna challenge you guys, if you do need XP or Stardust, this is a fantastic way to increase that in Pokemon Go. So let's get into the tips, tricks, strategies, and make sure you can succeed in this Gigantamax raid day. So welcome to the Trainer Club, here we go! This raid day is going down on February 1st from 2 until 5 p.m. standard local time. So if you guys need to get Gigantamax Kingler, you want it, you do, maybe you don't, whatever that situation is, I'm just gonna remind you guys that every single Gigantamax raid comes in with 25,000 XP and 25,000 Stardust. And if you use a lucky egg and a star piece, that nets a grand total of 50,000 XP and 37,500 Stardust, which is an insane amount of Stardust. Maybe you can make more XP doing other things in the game, which is a true statement, but what is not a true statement is that much Stardust coming from maybe like a 10-minute interval of effort if you're able to take this thing down. I'm gonna help you with that in this video, but guys, it is a massive amount of Stardust and gains when you're doing this, and it comes with a guaranteed XL rare candy as well. So if you guys do want that, this would be a good time to do so. So it's on Saturday, February 1st from 2 until 5. This is going to be a water type attacker. It is a Gigantamax, meaning it is going to have lobbies up to 40, not like Dynamax, which is going to be lobbies of 4. So obviously it's going to mean a whole lot more effort is needed to take this Pokemon down. But good news here is that we do have Gigantamax Toxtricity, which has been pretty useful in Pokemon Go, to be quite honest. During this event, we are going to have bonuses that are going to include collecting 1,600 max particles for one day. All of the power spots will host Gigantamax battles, which is a plus for anybody that may be short-handed. The power spots will refresh more frequently, and if I do remember, that is going to be every hour. And then finally, you'll be getting 8 times the amount of max particles from a power spot. So that means you only have to hit 2 power spots to be able to get all of your max particles for that day. You do not have to go around and hit 8. Well, I guess 16 for this matter. So that is a great thing for us to have. And then also from midnight to 5 p.m. on the 1st, you are going to be able to get 2 times max particles from exploring, which would give you a total of 601/4 max particle distance to be able to claim these. So it's only going to take 0.5 kilometers instead of 2 kilometers to be able to get this into your bag, which is a big plus, especially for those out there that may not have the availability to have so many power spots in the game. And then there's going to be a ticket add-on as well. So if you guys have $5 and you want to spend it on this game, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 2 times XP, which means, wow, this is crazy. You're going to be getting, with a lucky egg, 100,000 XP per max battle. That is incredibly large. I can't believe that's actually happening. That is really crazy. You're going to get 1 max mushroom, 25,000 XP during this process, and then finally you can collect up to 5,600 max particles, which is going to be able to get you 7 battles during this time. And if you bring over 800 from the day before, that will be a grand total of 8 max battles for the day, because you can collect that 5,600 and you will already have 800, so that is a grand total of 8 battles, which is a lot. If you're doing this on a lucky egg, that's 800,000 XP in a few measly hours, which is a good amount of XP, but I'm more concerned about the Stardust. The Stardust gains do not come as prevalent. And guys, don't forget, these battles are challenging. You are going to want to go in with teams of 4, which we'll talk about the strategy here in a little bit, but you want to make sure that you have your teams lined up, that you have everything ready to go, especially if you're in a remote area. You may want to even just consider going into a more populated area for that 2 to 5. Maybe you're in a really remote suburb of Chicagoland. You can head over to Naperville. There are suburbs like that throughout. You can check out Campfire and search out where are the max battle meetups in your area. And if you do need more damage, a max mushroom is something that will double the damage for a certain amount of time. So if you guys do want these, you can. It will cost 400 coins to be able to get one single one. Do I suggest doing them? Well, if you really need this Pokemon or want to at least have one, you can do it this way to be able to help boost your attacks. So let's talk about the IVs before we jump into the counters. So 1616 will be at level 20. If it is weather boosted, it's going to be in rainy weather. That will be coming out at 20 at level 25. And just as a reminder, in order to Gigantamax the Pokemon, you have to have that Pokemon, and Gigantamax Pokemon are special trades. So during the Lunar New Year, if you guys do want this, you can make that happen like that. So let's talk about this Gigantamax Kingler. So since it is going to be a water type Pokemon, it is going to be weak to two things, which is going to be grass and electric. And it resists fire, ice, steel, and water. So if we do think about those Pokemon, we will obviously use those Pokemon against it as one of our strategies in taking down this Gigantamax. Typically speaking, I would say that you would ideally want to have 20 plus trainers to go in against this Gigantamax Pokemon. And not only that, you're going to want to have multiple moves on those Pokemon leveled up. So the one cool thing about these max battles is that you do get the 800 particles per day that you can collect, which means you can either use them for battles or you can use them for leveling up your max moves. So oftentimes throughout these Gigantamax battles, we have a very large amount of lull time. So you can jump in there and use those particles that you may have used for a battle and just level up your Pokemon instead and wait for those new Gigantamax Pokemon to come out, because in my opinion, while there are some cool Dynamax Pokemon, Gigantamax Pokemon are the end game of this Gigantamax system. So the number one counter in the game is going to be Toxtricity. So I personally have a level 50 Toxtricity and two level 40 Toxtricities that were lucky shiny 96s, and I have the Hundo maxed all the way to level 50. The cool thing about this Pokemon is it is an electric type and it's going to resist all of Kingler's moves. Then you do have the Gigantamax Venusaur. The only problem with the Venusaur is it is going to be weak to the bug type moves coming off of this Kingler. And then we have the Dynamax Zapdos with Thunder Shock. And these are going to be the fast moves. Remember, when you do have the fast moves, that is going to be able to modify what the Dynamax moveset is. For the Gigantamax, they only get one. It's only one G-Max move. For the Dynamax, you can change it up based on what the fast move is. So if you did have, for instance, a poison move on a Dynamax Venusaur, it would get a poison Dynamax move as opposed to having the grass one. Then you're going to have the Dynamax Rillaboom with Razor Leaf, Dynamax Toxtricity with Spark, and Dynamax Venusaur with Vine Whip. And for doing all of these battles, the Toxtricity has come in extremely useful for me. And next, we're going to talk about beyond just the attackers, okay? So for the attackers, you want to have a coveted attacker. For myself, that's that level 50 Toxtricity that I don't have into the battle until it's time to attack. Once I'm ready to go into that attack, I can switch into that, and then when it goes in D-maxes, whatever that term is, then I switch back into my resistance/defense Pokemon. The top defense Pokemon will be Gigantamax Blastoise, Gigantamax Lapras, and Gigantamax Venusaur as far as the Gigantamaxes go. And just as a reminder that the Venusaur is going to be weak to the bug type moves. Then we have the Dynamax Metagross. I really like this Pokemon. Well, number one, because I have a level 50, and so it's extremely effective. This one you would want to have Zen Headbutt as the move as opposed to Bullet Punch, because Bullet Punch would then make it have a Steel Dynamax move, which would not be effective against a water type Pokemon. And then you could do Dynamax Blastoise with the Water Gun and the Dynamax Venusaur with Vine Whip. And so what my party personally will look like for this weekend, it is going to be the Metagross. We are going to have the Toxtricity and Toxtricity into my parties. This is going to make up all of my fighting team as well as the defense team. And on my defensive Pokemon, which is going to be the Metagross, which we will touch on healers here in a second that you could use, the Metagross does have all maxed out moves. So I can use shields, I can also use heals, and then I can also use attacks on that Pokemon. They are all at level 3. And as far as the best healers, we have the Gigantamax Venusaur, the Gigantamax Blastoise, as well as Lapras. And then we have the Venusaur, the Blastoise, and the Greedent in the Dynamax forms. And then as far as these Pokemon's moveset, these fast moves for the Gigantamax Kingler will get Bubble, Metal Claw, and Mud Shot. And for the charge moves, it's going to get Vice Grip, X-Scissor, Water Pulse, Crab Hammer, and Razor Shell. And just as a reminder, guys, let's check out the Gigantamax if you don't remember what it does when you battle. So the Gigantamax bosses use 2 charge moves from the move pool, which can include legacy moves. One attack will damage all Pokemon currently active in battle and cannot be dodged. The other is a more powerful attack that targets only one of the active Pokemon. So somebody's Pokemon is going to be targeted while this is happening. So this one can be dodged. You can dodge the specific moveset. So when it's going to throw the moveset at you, all you have to do is swipe over to the side, and that will help you dodge that Pokemon's move. And don't forget that the single target move also does double damage, so it's something that you do want to move away from. And while we are not in our Dynamax or Gigantamax form, we do not want to use any charged attacks, because that will slow down progressing into getting into the Gigantamax form or Dynamax form, because when you're in that form, it cannot attack. So the goal of everybody's party is to stay alive during that form, spam as many fast attacks as possible, and then get yourself to that Dynamax or Gigantamax form, because that pauses the attacks and allows you to do your attack against it. And if you guys do want to catch this Pokemon, you can use a Mega active Pokemon to get you more XL candy if you need it. Those Pokemon are going to include Mega Blastoise, Mega Slowbro, Mega Gyarados, Mega Swampert, and Primal Kyogre. Obviously, those will not be a battle, but if they are active, they are Mega level 3. When you do catch that Dynamax Pokemon, you will be able to get more XL candy. And please do not forget that we can get the shiny Gigantamax Kingler as well. And just as a reminder, guys, that we already do have a Gigantamax Blastoise out there that does have a Water G-Max move, and the Lapras does have an Ice G-Max move. So when we are looking at this specific Pokemon, what is the big takeaway? Is Kingler the best Pokemon that we should go after? Not really super necessary. So if you guys do not care for this Pokemon, I suggest you at least go out there and get one, because by unlocking one, you won't have to pay any extra Stardust when looking for this Pokemon for a trade. So all you have to do is go out there and get one Gigantamax of these Pokemon, and that will allow you to be able to trade for them if you do so desire. But these Gigantamax Pokemon, what my main goal is overall is, number one, to receive all of the amazing rewards from doing these battles. Number two is going to be to get at least one of these Pokemon lucky, and then I will consider powering that Pokemon up to level 40 regardless of what the stats are, because level 40 Gigantamax Pokemon powered up for half of the Stardust is only about 100,000 Stardust. It's going to be worth your time, energy, and effort. Would I take that Pokemon all the way to level 50? Probably not, but to level 40 I would, and a level 40 Pokemon is still very powerful in a Gigantamax battle as opposed to a level 20 Pokemon. There's a big difference between those, not a huge difference from level 40 to level 50. So get out there, guys. Make sure to go in with teams, because here's how this thing also works. Every 4 people that go in will have their own party, and that's going to be all in parties of 4. So you're going to be inclusive in a big group, but then smaller inclusive in your small group that's going to manage out this Pokemon. So ideally, you want somebody in that party to be able to have a max heal so that I can heal all your Pokemon. What my strategy typically looks like is to throw at least 1 shield every single time, and then throw 2 attacks. Okay, but what that does look like, since I'm going to be using Toxtricity and switching back into the Metagross, the first time around I may need to go in with the Metagross as an attacker, and then I'm going to throw 2 shields onto that Pokemon, attack with it, and then I'll be able to switch into that Toxtricity and then switch back. The only problem there is if that happens and then it knocks your shields out, then you will have to consider redoing that. If you do redo that, what you would do is go after potentially putting shields onto my Toxtricity. I don't have all of my Toxtricity moves all the way to level 3. Reason being is because it needs XL candy, and I can't really trade any of my Toxtricities to get XL candy. Fortunately, when I did that 100 Toxtricity max battles in a day for that Gigantamax, you guys should check out that video up here. It was epic. We did it with Daxi in Ottawa. We had a ton of fun, got a ton of resources, 3.75 million Stardust in one day. That is absolutely unheard of. So if you can do stuff like that, guys, it really does help your resources and helps you progress Pokemon Go. So thank you guys for being here. Love and appreciate you guys. I'm gonna see you guys out on the next video. Peace.
I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.